Welcome to the Midweek Refuel with Lupus in Color, where we strive to educate, inspire, encourage, and empower lupus warriors all around the world. Today's Midweek Refuel is going to be about being naked and nourished. We are talking about skincare and how important it is to really pay attention to what we put on our skin, not just in our bodies, but on our skin. So, the next thing that you will see is an interview that I did with Javanya of Simple, Pure, Authentic LLC. And she is going to share with us exactly what she does and how we can be nourished beyond the things that we're used to using all the time. So I want you guys to take a listen. Ask your questions down at the bottom if you have any. And if you need some information about her products, everything's going to be listed down below. So we are talking about skincare, naked and nourished, and how important it is to understand what you put on your body can make or break you as well. So, thank you, and here we go. Welcome to In the Loop with Lupus in Color, where we strive to educate, inspire, encourage, and empower lupus warriors all around the world. Today, we are speaking to Javanya, who is here in Richmond, and she has a holistic care whole program that she has that I want you to hear about. And I want you to make sure that you understand what she does so that you can patronize her, number one, and understand the importance of holistic care in so many different ways. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time tonight, but I want Javanya to come on and tell us what she does, who she does it with, and we'll start now. Hi, Javanya.
Hi, Raquel. Good
How are
evening to
you?
you.
Oh, likewise, likewise. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Well, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. I am Giovanna Mendiola. I am the owner of Simple, Pure, and Authentic LLC. And basically, what I do is I configure holistic skin and hair care products. And one of my targets is especially dry skin. There's a lot of that in our community, African American community. So I'd like to target that and things related to it, like eczema and seborrheic dermatitis, things that are kind of sisters to just standard dry skin. And I want people to understand that you can still smell good, you can look good, you can have the glow, and all those things that the larger industries, the larger companies offer, but you can do it in a cleaner way, a more natural way, and a longer lasting way, and most importantly, a healthier way. That's my goal, to be healthy and to help other people be healthy.
I
So yeah.
love that. I love that because I love that you said to help people be healthier. And I don't think that people realize our skin is like the largest organ. So
Right.
it's important to really recognize what we put on our skin.
Yes, 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 yes. One of the things that brought me here, and I know you didn't ask, but it kind
Oh,
of
you're fine.
is springing forth. One of the things that brought me here is actually two things, and I think I mentioned it to you when you and I first met. But two of my children have eczema, and eczema because of allergies. So a lot of people don't understand that eczema is an autoimmune condition, and it's related to some kind of allergy. So a lot of people, you go to the doctor and you get a steroid or you get some kind of cream to help with the symptoms, but are we addressing the cause of the symptoms? Sometimes what they give us actually causes the condition to continue.
Mhm.
So in trying to help my children, I harness some of the remedies that my grandma and on both sides of the family and aunties they had. And I said, let me see what I can do with those things. Let me do some research to understand, like some of the cautions and some of the uses of these things. And that's where my products were birthed from, just putting together some things to see how it worked on my kids. My kids are critically honest, whether you like it or not. And they'll tell me, this does not work, or this is too harsh, or I simply don't like the smell.
Mm.
So it's been things like that. There's a big focus nowadays on endocrine disruptors coming from some of our cosmetics that we use, some of our
Mm,
body washes and shampoos and such like that. So I try to take out some of those products that we were using, like, for example, like Vaseline, to keep you kind of
okay.
hydrated in the winter, and discovering what does nature offer that does a similar or the same thing, maybe even better. And that's how some of my products were formulated, like I
Wow.
said, with keeping dry skin in mind, learning what herbs can be used. The herbs are here for us, learning what herbs can be used in combination with the different butters and the different oils and things of that nature.
Mhm.
And how can we achieve the same result we would have by using, for example, like a Dermasil or a Eucerin or something, something similar to that. So yeah, I'm really trying to make sure people are aware that holistic beauty and body care is available,
Absolutely.
should they want to go down that path.
Absolutely. And I like that because you know what? We're so used to certain products, right? We're
Hmm.
so used to using Vaseline in the wintertime
Hmm.
or going to the store and just picking up something and not really reading what's in it.
Right.
You said something about the Vaseline. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did you figure out, besides the fact that you're probably a magnificent researcher, how did you figure out how to switch things up? And if somebody wanted to switch something up for themselves, how would they go about doing that?
Okay. And that's a good question. So with the Vaseline, I actually, back during the pandemic, because my weight years ago, my highest weight, and I tell people this is part of my testimony, my highest weight was 340 pounds.
Wow.
So, and I was really young at 340 pounds. I was 25 years old.
Wow.
And I thought, because, physicians would tell me, hey, this is a matter of diet and movement. I thought that's what it all was. Come to find out, probably 10, 12 years later, after having my fourth child, that it was deeper than that.
Mm,
So when I started to struggle with the weight issue during the pandemic, I enlisted the help of a holistic practitioner who helped me to navigate some of the product labels and understand what were on the product labels and how it may be impacting my hormones as well as that of my family. So I
wow.
learned a lot there. But one of the things that she taught me was how petroleum, albeit there's different like versions or different iterations of it, that's the leading ingredient in Vaseline. And so I learned more about how certain versions of it are potential carcinogens and things of that sort. And
Mm,
even though Vaseline may not be directly a carcinogen, potential carcinogen is all I needed to hear.
yeah, right.
So I started to search, I really started to search and understand, like, how can I get that same effect, because I suffer from very, very dry skin. How can
Mhm.
I get that same effect if I'm not going to use Vaseline? I've used it my entire life. What do I do? Especially like on my lips and things like that. What do I do? So I discovered like different oils, and I always thought that oils would make anybody break out with acne. But
Mm,
I learned that there are oils that do not. They are non clogging of your pores. So
right.
it's been so much research over the years to understand how each of these different oils and herbs and things that are available to us on this earth can
Mhm.
do the same thing and even better than like Vaseline and different things like that. So I would say to somebody who wants to start swapping out some of the more abrasive products that they use, I would say to them to really like look for natural product lines, but not just natural product lines and take it at face value.
Right.
Understand the ingredients that are in that quote natural product line and see what it does to your body. Do extensive research. And once you find a replacement, let's say, for example, for your deodorant, you stick with that
Right.
and you keep that for some time. If it no longer works for you, then you try something else. But it's important to understand what we're putting in our body, simply because, like you said, your skin is your largest organ, so and it's responsible for a lot. So you want to make sure what you're putting on your skin is conducive to the overall health of your body. It's no sense in eating properly. It's no sense in exercising if you're going to put
Right,
garbage on your skin and blow it all. I'd
right,
rather have
right.
cake and ice cream if I'm going to do all of that, every day.
I mean, that's the truth. We have to look at the whole picture, and part
That's
of that
right.
whole picture is that skin. Because you know what? I think that sometimes we think that, of course, the bigger companies know better,
Right.
but in all actuality, it can be simple. It can be simple things, simple changes that you can make that can give you glowing skin like you have. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Really. Yes, ma'am. I also learned, like I've worked in tech for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so.
Mhm.
And one of my friends, a few of my friends actually, they are East Asian. They're of Indian descent. And I ask questions. So I'd ask them, what do you use on your hair to thicken it? Like after having babies, they suffer from hair fall just like we do, shedding and such like that. So they were telling me some of the things they use, different herbs, different things like that. I would ask their moms, their grandmas, different things that they use to, like, for example, deal with stomach ache and
Right.
in an herbal way versus taking a Tums, for example. So I learned a lot of things from them also. And like I said, harnessing what my grandparents, my parents, aunties and such had put those bits of information together along with my research. And I've learned a lot about the benefits of basic everyday, some things we use as spices, they have medicinal effects on the
Sure.
body. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Just having a chronic illness, you got to learn how to figure out those things that work with your body. I tell a lot of people to find a journal and hold that journal and put in your food, your mood, what you're putting on your skin, so that you can find out how your skin is reacting to some of these things. Now, I know
That's right.
with lupus, we're on different medications that we might not be able to come off of. How
Mhm.
should they go about? And y'all, this is not medical advice. It's just we're talking. It's an educational piece. I'll put the disclaimer in the beginning.
That's right. That's
Um,
right.
how would you tell someone to actually test the different products that might help them on their lupus journey? Because we get the lupus lesions, we get the butterfly rash on our face. How
Mm.
would you how would you work with them in that aspect?
Well, if someone with lupus came to me and wanted to discuss how they could care for their skin um, when they were having a tough time, I would sit down with them to try to find out, if they know what their triggers were. Was it stress? Was it just a part of the lupus? Kind of like what was it? But like you described the rashes, the rashes like on the face. The
Mhm.
one thing I would say to someone is to try to use less product on their face. Like maybe dial it back to instead of twice a day using a face wash, just once a day using a face wash and seeing how that works. Because sometimes we're already in overdrive and we need
Mm.
to back up a little bit because maybe overdrive was acceptable 1 year ago, but now maybe your body can't tolerate it or does not need all of that. One of the things that I've learned is especially as women, we do too much in a sense, like use too much soap on your skin when you do take a bath, or you're using too much body spray. And the
Mm.
intent was not to have you someone able to smell you, 3 rooms away. The
Right.
intent was just just to make you smell good, good
Yeah.
enough for the
For
immediate
yourself. Yeah.
proximity.
Yeah.
So I would really want to sit down and understand what the triggers were, or if they even know, if someone even knows what their triggers have been, and I will want to dial it back. One of the approaches my holistic practitioner had for me was elimination. So, like over the course of, because I also have a metabolic disorder, in case I didn't mention that earlier.
Mhm.
So, to address that, she started me with eliminating certain things from my diet and then slowly adding them back to see how I felt once I added those things back. Because, like I said, we're in a culture, we do a lot. And when you're doing a lot, you're not always aware of how you're responding because you've eaten 5 things, or you've put 3 different perfumes and lotions and body oils on and all that stuff. You won't know what's causing a reaction within you. So we dial it back, and that would be my approach. Take some things out and let's slowly add them back in, kind of see, how you respond.
Yeah, it's all a process, right? I think that
Right.
people think that it's going to happen instantly. Oh, I'm going to lose the weight instantly. Oh, my skin is going to be perfect instantly. No, it's an actual process that
Right.
has to be done in order for your body, for you to understand your body, number one, and in
That's
order for
right.
your body to recover, like you said, because it's an overdrive.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
that's interesting because I love that you talked about the triggers because a lot of us don't really understand what our triggers are. And some of
That's
those
right.
triggers could be our food,
Yes.
stress, things of that nature. So I love that. I love that. So now I know you said that you lost a lot of weight. I want to talk
Hmm.
about that real quick because that is something that we deal with and how you went about doing that.
Okay. So I had, let me see, it was over 20 years ago. That's how long it's been. I had gastric bypass surgery. Okay. But then less than a year later, I was pregnant with my first son. So
Mhm.
they always tell you, like most bariatric surgeons always tell you to wait 2 years before you get pregnant. I didn't. Um, so I ended up getting back to almost 300 pounds because I had one son each year for the next 3 years. So I ended up, I don't know what happened.
Hey,
Well,
you
I
did it
do,
right.
but
You did it right. If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it that way.
so what ended up happening is over the course of time, I found myself almost 300 pounds again. And at that point in time, it's not like you can have another bariatric surgery. I mean, you can try all the things. The GLP-1s weren't a thing at that time, but I had to really try to see like what I could do to adjust my eating, what I could do for the exercise. And I just did this for years and years. And I could lose 20 pounds maybe, but I would gain it right back, or 25 pounds and gain back 15. But when I found this holistic practitioner who made me slow down, look at what you're actually consuming, look at what you're actually using in your products, that was the only time in my adult life that I was able to get under 200 pounds. And it was because I was putting my body into overdrive because of all the different things I was eating, processed foods, etc. Like I said, a lot of the products I was using were just throwing my hormones in a tailspin. And so when I slowed down and simplified, and that's part of
Mhm.
the mission with the business also, with our business also, is simplification. When I
Right.
simplified my routines, stop using, a perfume on top of a body wash that's scented, on top of a body oil or scrub. I mean, it's just too much. It's
Yeah.
too much. It was too much for me, and it
Yeah.
threw my endocrine system off tremendously. And that understanding what those things were doing to me, understanding how my hormones were being impacted because of what I put in and on my body, that was the only way I was able to achieve real weight loss goals. So
Mm,
um, I really had
I
to
love
take a
that.
step back and do research. So
Yeah, I love
yes,
that because you had to be extremely mindful as to what you put in your body, what you put on your body, in order to really get to a point where you saw some type of change. Number one, in your mindset, right?
yes,
How you
yes,
looked at food, what your relationship was with food, what your relationship was with all these products. Because we
yes,
do have a relation. I like to smell this way, so I want to put this product on. So
yes,
I think what I hear you saying is that mindfulness makes a difference, and with that mindfulness, things can be a little simple.
yes. Definitely, it can definitely be simpler. One of the things that I noticed when I simplified my routines, like my skincare routine and how I ate, such like that. One of the number one things that I noted, I always had extremely oily skin and very acne prone. Even outside, I was in my 30s suffering from terrible acne, going to a dermatologist. terrible, terrible skin. Like I could cover it up well with makeup, but I just struggled so bad. But again, with the simplification, altering what was in my diet, altering how I took care of my face. Like I always thought, like I said before, oils would cause pimples. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't use the oil on my face. It's going to cause pimples. Not all oils do that. I use oil twice a day, and
Mm.
that oil doesn't cause pimples at all. So, the clear skin was an added bonus of, the simplification and going the more holistic route. And I wasn't even in it to clear my skin up, because I said, hey, I can use like a clear seal or put on some makeup and be fine.
Right.
But when I was freed from having to do all of that, it just felt so much better. So I can't even tell you all the ways that my life in general has improved, and other people's lives in general have improved when they simplified and took a more holistic approach to how they take care of their body. I mean, it's really phenomenal, really.
Yeah, I can't even put it in words how different you feel when you're putting different products on your body, you know. And look, I'm not, the whole holistic, everything is holistic in my house. But now that I've met you, I can use some of your products and try them out and things of that nature. Stepping out of that comfort zone is the problem, I think, for a lot of people. You're
Yes.
comfortable with what you have, and it
Yes.
makes you feel a certain way. So once you replace that feeling with something else that's healthier for you, it can work out very well.
That's right. It can. One of the I've heard this before, and it was part of my thought process in the past as well. One of the barriers to some people embracing more holistic products for their skin and for their body is the cost. But one
Mhm.
of the things that I try to tell people, and I've had to bear this in mind, I have 4 children. So I have to bear, cost of things in mind just like everybody else. But one of the things that I thought about was, and I waited, do I want to continue to spend money at the dermatologist and endocrinologist, or do I want to make these shifts? It may seem to cost more, but in the long run, I am healthier. I don't have to see the endocrinologist. I don't have to see the dermatologist, because I'm understanding how to better take care of myself in a more natural way. So like the products you mentioned, the products that I cultivate, I always tell people that a little goes a long way. So when
Mhm.
you are using, the natural herbs and oils, and, I have a technique with how I get those herbs into the oils and stuff like that. When you're using those things, while it may seem to cost more than a comparable size in Walmart or in the drugstore, the thing is it'll last you so much longer, because you don't need as much. And you will find that, you put something on in the morning, like if you put one of the body butters on in the morning, you don't
Mhm.
need to repeat this, when you go to lunch, and you find your skin dry. You don't have to do it. You'll feel better. You'll feel lighter,
Mm.
not using as much stuff on your skin.
Wow, I love that statement. You'll feel lighter
Yes. Yeah.
without all that
Yeah.
heavy chemical things on your skin.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
that's a powerful statement right there, because you don't even think about that. When you're
Mm-mm.
rubbing all this stuff on you, you don't think about feeling lighter, feeling
Yes.
healthier as you're doing it. So I love that.
Yes.
I love that. If you could, I want to be respectful of your time, and I know it's around dinner time, so I don't want to keep you on too long. But if you could tell someone something about their skin that they need to do today to feel just a little bit different, a little bit better, what would you say?
I would tell them it's kind of like a twofold.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell the person that they need a consistent routine,
Mm.
and they need to incorporate water, and not just drinking water, water on your skin. Water is what hydrates your skin and your hair. Anything else will seal or block out the water.
Mm.
So I tell people when you're using whatever you're using on your skin, whether you're using some kind of commercial lotion or whatever, because some people are not quite on the holistic train. Harness the water that is on your skin from your shower. So if you come out of the shower, don't dry off completely.
Right.
Blot and put your lotion or whatever you want on top of that. Water is one of the most natural things that we can use to actually take care of our bodies. So use that. If you have it available to you, use that water to moisturize your hair, to moisturize your skin. And you will find yourself less reliant on any other product anyway, if you
Right.
utilize the water that is there. So that's my thing. Be consistent and use water to your advantage.
I love that. I love that. I think we sometimes water gets a bad rap,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
we're so conditioned to do things a certain way. And when it has to be changed after 20 something years or 30 something years, it's always going to be a little struggle.
Yeah.
That's why we take small steps, right?
That's right.
You eliminate
That's
one thing, start again, right?
right. That's
I love,
right.
I love
And
it.
I want to be, I just want to make this plug. I try to be very mindful of making somebody else feel like they're behind or feel bad because they don't quite buy into the holistic approach yet. I was given time to buy into the holistic approach. Nobody forced it on me. So I think we give people time to get there. But in order for them to get there, one of the important things is they need to see it work. They need to see it effective, and they need to see the proof because they've been doing whatever they've been doing for decades. So
Right. And they need to open their heart and their minds for it as well. It's
that's
just
right.
like when you get ill and you have to go on medications or whatever have you. You have to open your heart and your mind to be able to understand that this can help you, and to be able to for your body to really react to it properly.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Let us know what your website is. Where can we find you online? Give me all that information.
So let me start with my email because that's easy. I can remember that right off my head. And I can always be reached by my email easily.
Okay,
But
awesome.
it's simple, pure, authentic at gmail.com. That's my email. And my website is simple, pure, authentic without the C
Okay.
/ WIXSITE.
So I want to thank you. Thank
Yes,
you for
ma'am.
even talking to me at the event. Because sometimes you get a little nervous talking to people and you don't know how they're gonna take you and things of that nature. So it was such a great conversation, and I'm so glad that I met you. I'm definitely gonna keep in touch and have you come out when we have a meeting and talk about your products and share, what they can use to do certain things on their body.
Sure. Raquel, it was my pleasure, honestly, because I, outside of the business aspect of it, even my friends and family can tell you, this is something I'm passionate about. It has to be. One of the things that really made me think was I saw all those lawsuits for Black women in the relaxers. And
Mhm.
I got really, it really frustrated me because it's something that we thought was harmless and it became very harmful.
Right.
And it got next to me. It really, really did. So that right there made me say, you know what? While I feel like women in general need to be protected, what better thing to do was put some skin in the game for myself and see how I can help protect us. Nobody's going to be a better advocate for us than we would be because we live in these bodies. We know.
Yeah,
We know.
exactly. And we know what works for us and what doesn't. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love
That's
that.
right.
I definitely felt that passion from you when I was speaking to you at the event, and I still feel it now. And I love it. I love it. I'm so happy that I have met you. So thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to leave with us before we go?
Um, just one thing. Think about, you are worth the best products. You are
Ooh,
worth the best hair care, skin care, etc. And if money is an issue, I get it. We're trying to manage in the society that we're in. But I would encourage everyone to try one or two products, whether it's mouthwash that's natural, whether it's, you know, body scrub that's natural. Try something to see how you feel and actually be consistent. Look at your diet and try to take out a few of those processed foods just for a month and see how you feel. Like really note take how you felt on January 30th to how you feel on February 28th. Our bodies are important. There are people who love us and care for us and depend on us. So it is our obligation, even to ourselves, to do the best we can with what we have. So I encourage anybody to at least try the holistic approach to how you care for yourself.
Absolutely. Boy, if you didn't take anything else from this conversation, that last statement is the one that we want to take. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me and to give those great nuggets. And I hope that we can do this again, possibly in person.
Yes, ma'am. Of course. Yes, ma'am. And thank you for having me, honestly.
Not a problem at all. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We want to make sure that you're gonna have all of her information, and we're going to make sure that we share that out to you so that you can see her website and you can possibly purchase her products. Now, before we go, do you ship your products as well?
Yes, I do ship. I've shipped as far out as Texas here recently. So
Okay.
I do. I've got it ready. Even for the summertime when butters and different things like that melt, I've got all of that nailed down.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So
it's
y'all got it now. So we ship
yes.
out, we can get it locally. So that's the
Yes.
important part.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Raquel. It's been my pleasure.